fear inside your veins, sweat dripping down your head. Feeling like you might give up, but you push on through instead. Learning how to survive, hanging by a thread. No time for sitting still, got the man watching us.
Hey guys, what is up? This is Nation98 here.
What's going on, my pet shoppers and video gamers? This is Lil's Nintendo Shop here.
What's up, everybody? I'm ICanSnake.
Hello, everyone. This is Weekend Artist 28 here.
Hello, everybody. This is the Downloads Bacon here, and I'm back. Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. This is CC Trainor-Ling.
And guys, we finally have our newest member now. His pseudo nickname right now is Con Man. So please introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is James, and welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Kids, you probably won't get that reference.
Unless your parents are awesome, in which case they're doing it right.
Google Guns N' Roses, you'll figure it out, kids.
Yeah.
So, the episode we're going to be reviewing today is What's So Scary About the Jungle? Everything. Mrs. Twombly's friend from college, Tess Savage, winds up visiting LPS to see her friends. Blythe informs Penny, who is a big fan of Tess, that she's coming to visit, and she is super happy because she wants to see her. But when she sees Penny-Ling, she winds up freaking up and becomes scared. And even when she puts on a gorilla costume, she's still scared of her. So Blythe finds the gorilla, who happens to be conveniently at the downtown city zoo, to see what happened. It turns out that Tess was in the gorilla sanctuary, and while doing some exploring, she comes across a stuffed panda, which the gorilla, whose name is Sunshine, puts down because she doesn't want to get food on her squeezy, as she calls it. But Tess picks it up, and through some maternal mother instincts, she goes crazy and just lets a big loud roar, scaring Tess. So the pets decide to go to the zoo to try to help out Blythe and Tess. Sunshine loses her squeezy and freaks out. Penny decides to go and give Sunshine a hug, which Penny-Ling has guts for that. Tess decides to rescue Penny-Ling, in the meantime finding Squishy. She gives Squishy back, and they both make up.
Thank you, LNS, for the very, very detailed version. I'll give you a round of applause for that.
Woo!
Little golf clap for you.
Thanks. Does anyone want to give any positives?
James, since you're the new guy here, would you like to take the first positive?
Why, certainly. Tess was an interesting character, I have to say. I kind of saw when I first saw her, and it ended up being kind of right as it went on, was I got a very big sort of Jane Goodall vibe from her. If you don't know who Jane Goodall is, she was the lady that studied with the chimps. Yeah, I got a big vibe off of her, and it kind of makes sense given the whole being afraid of gorillas thing and being in seclusion, hence her going to downtown city. So I thought the character was interesting, and the plot, the overall sort of plot was different than the whole sort of biggest fan meets his or her idol kind of episode, where instead of the person that's being a jerk, Tess is downright terrified of Penny-Ling, which in a way is hilarious, but at the same time, I guess it kind of does teach a little lesson to the kids about, traumatic experiences, but in a more comedic and sort of easy to go down way.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to add a positive?
Sure, I'd like to give a positive. I'd like to talk about Tess. We learned that she's Twombly's old friend, not necessarily from college, like LNS said in the plot.
No, she is from college because...
Yeah, I think they did say she was from college, didn't they?
What happened was when
I don't think so.
Her college roommate.
Oh, really? So it gives more world building for Tess and Twombly. And I also like how they introduced the traumatic experiences. Like, it seems so dark for a kids show, but they made it so lighthearted, so it gives a realistic and worldly feel to the show.
Just because a show is for kids doesn't mean it can't tackle serious subjects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And it takes it way out of complex.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to add a positive?
Yes. I'd like to add a positive that, considering that this is a Merryweather Winters episode, and basically the fact that I tend to think of her as like one of the, no offense, like the weakest like writers like from the previous episodes LPS. I was a bit blown away from this one because this is another good episode from her, and I mean, yeah, it follows a very cohesive like plot here. I mean, the misunderstanding cliche was handled pretty well, and and it's really nice of her to actually like step up her game, and it kind of shows that she's really like finding her place with the pets here. So yeah.
Can I add on to that?
Sure.
Yeah.
I also think that Meriwether Williams is my least favorite writer on the show, but the fact that she just wrote this amazing episode, I'm still asking myself, and the fact that I'm still liking this episode, have I gone crazy?
Going off the rails on a crazy train.
Okay, does anyone else add a...
Yeah, if I could piggyback off you for just a minute, like I know like a lot of the bronies tend to not like Meriwether either, and me personally, I'm kind of indifferent. But I guess is a proof that even those that aren't really the best writers, like everything they write is gold. You know, it's proof that they too have a good episode or two up their sleeves.
Yep. Does anyone want to add a positive about Penny-Ling?
I would.
Other than the fact that she was just being downright adorable. All those hugs.
Yes.
Yes.
Man, those.
There was kind of a joke I was thinking about that, about her being secretly a face hugger. Like if any of you guys have ever seen Aliens, but I don't know. It's my twist. Don't be surprised if you see little panda xenomorphs in a later episode, kiddies.
Yeah.
I kid.
Yeah.
Bacon, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, no. I see. I guess I can elaborate on the Penny-Ling. I really enjoyed Penny-Ling in this episode. Really adorable, as you guys were pointing out. I did like how she showed a lot of guts in this episode, especially during the end of the episode when she actually went into the gorilla habitat and was with
Sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunshine. So I give her major points for that.
Yeah, she was really brave.
Yeah, she was really brave. Anyone want to continue on that? Elaborate on Penny-Ling?
That everybody who thinks that the ending was mean-spirited, when Penny said how she pretty much mustered up the courage to go into the gorilla habitat when Sunshine was breaking out, she did what Vinny and Sneal would do, but in the exact opposite. Everyone thought that was way too mean-spirited, but personally, I didn't, because with Vinny and Sneal's track record, that being in Door Jam, Lilith Bigfoot, or the
Sleeper
Weird,
and War of the Worlds.
A Day at the Museum.
Yeah.
Pretty much those episodes, they pretty much have overreacted, and Penny-Ling didn't overreact. So in the end, it was funny, and it didn't really hurt their pride or insult them in any way. They just shrugged it off.
Yeah, and honestly, especially for Yes Man, I'm gonna answer your question. Yes Man asked me if I was he thought I'd be raging about that part. No, well, I wasn't mad about that because it really wasn't a take on their personal integrity. There wasn't anything mean-spirited about it. It was basically just saying that, she would have done the exact opposite of what they would have done. And the other part is that they didn't care. I mean, was there a joke against them? Probably. That's probably why they were laughing. But they shrugged it off. They knew that they got made fun of, but they don't care. They're just like, okay. So they just shrugged it off.
Plus,
I'd also like to talk about that. It was hilarious. It was mean-spirited, but it wasn't mean-spirited for themselves. Like Sunil and Vinny already know their clutches, and they're not as smart as everyone else. So they already know what's wrong with them. So even if Penny insulted them, they already know it. So it's kind of like a moot point.
I don't really think she was trying to insult them. She was just saying what she would have done.
Yeah.
And plus, Sunil does have some intelligence.
Yeah.
And plus, to be fair, if I may say, at the beginning of the episode, Vinny and Sneal were kind of, being a little rude towards Penny about, what makes her so special. So I guess I can see how Penny-Ling kind of got that, quote, revenge at the end. Talking about Sneal and Vinny. So,
yeah.
So,
So
hey, I feel like
they got punished.
that made sense.
So they got punished both appropriately and comically for their misdeeds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Not to mention Pepper's this rubber chicken that returns to give Vinny the flower. Like, not
Beat there.
happening.
Two words, not helping.
Oh, helping.
Not helping.
Yeah. I meant that, yeah.
Anyone wants to add any more positives or any negatives, or can we just?
I would say I would add like the references. There was one reference that I think some caught up was when Black was finding out where the gorilla is. She actually reads this like sign that says lions, tigers, bears. Yeah, that's a reference to like the Wizard of Oz reaction there. So, yeah.
Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my!
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Lions, tigers, bears, oh my!
Yeah, and another thing, though, I don't think it was like directly, but it's kind of weird that this episode actually premiered like at the same weekend as the new Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, where it had that similar scenario about trying to bring peace between the the gorilla ape or the human, particularly. So kind of a quinkadink. Coincidence?
Movie promotion.
Well played.
Yeah, coincidence.
Curse you and your clever product placement.
I think not.
I'd also like to talk about the references. Because, like, when Blythe asked if Pepper is out there, who's in the gorilla suit, that's, like, kind of a nod to one of the SpongeBob episodes.
I think it was more of an
if anyone hasn't noticed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
This whole storyline, like, one person from a TV show goes to a city. That was, like, made by My Gym Partner's a Monkey, which was worked on by Julie and Tim McNally Cahill themselves. So it's kind of like a nod that they brought the same storyline back.
More or less.
In a way, it's just that Amazon Kevin, I guess that's who you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except that he was more, I guess you could say, aggressive in a way than Tess was, because she was merely just, freaked out in an over-the-top manner.
Yeah.
She's really trying to attack every single animal she sees, just studying them in their natural habitat.
Yes, but they both do have a similar thing, though. They both are really afraid of animals. So.
No. Tess is not afraid of all animals. She likes all animals.
I was about to clarify on that.
Yeah.
She was afraid of that gorilla. But
She just had a phobia.
Yeah, just a phobia.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a traumatic event. Amazon Kevin was just scared of animals, period.
Yeah, but basically, yeah.
So does anyone else have any positives?
Nope, I covered all the
I think we covered everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
This one. Oh wait, I have one more. This really kind of goes in a little deeper than the actual episode, but one of the positives I've listed is Meriwether Williams. She, for all of us, I'm pretty sure we all came in with sort of low expectations.
I did.
Yeah, me
well,
too.
I know Ellen S. did. For one, I'm one of the people that, if there's a new writer, I'm going to give them a chance. And even if it's a writer that wasn't that good, I'll still give them a chance. Unless it's Casey Alexander. In that case, no. After he killed SpongeBob, I'm not trusting him.
I think Downloads Bacon wanted to elaborate more on what our conversation was. Downloads Bacon, you wanted to elaborate more?
I was going to elaborate on Mrs. Swan, though.
Sure.
But I really did enjoy the fact that she did get a little bit more screen time. But I enjoyed the fact of how she did know this character, Tess. I don't know. To me, it makes the show a little bit more interesting when you have all the characters fleshed out, not just the pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that this show does that a lot of other shows fail to do. Because little pet, that just touch up on the pets and that's it, but they touch up on the other characters.
And the other thing that they leave out is that in this season alone, there were hardly any subplots in this new season. It was more or less either the pets doing something with Blythe, or it's just the pets in general. Maybe like a couple episodes where there was an A plot and a B plot.
Yeah.
So
I kind of like that though, as a matter of fact, because I guess it's one central plot as opposed to like several little plots going on. But at the same time, if it's several plots at the beginning and they sort of mix together into the end, that's awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
So does anyone want to give any more positives or negatives, or can we just give the overall score?
I'd like to give a negative, but it's kind of more like a nitpick. But for me, I thought the fact that Tess was trying to hide her trauma, and that she had a traumatic experience with gorillas and pandas, I thought that was kind of like mean, I guess, because like I've never had a trauma before, so I don't know what it's like. So
People,
I don't understand why you would hide a traumatic experience or trauma from anyone else. It's like everyone's scared of something. Others may be more normal than other people. So like it's nothing to be ashamed about.
Yeah.
can we all elaborate since we've all had a traumatic experience? Because I think a lot of us will agree that most of us will just try to hide the traumatic experience.
Yeah, you don't want to really reenact it or have it just play in your head again. So
Oh,
you try
yeah.
to-
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I've never had one, so I wouldn't know.
I guess in Tessa's case, it's the fact that she is basically almost like she does the animal thing on TV. So to say that she has a phobia or traumatic experience with an animal would be kind of detrimental to her character. Maybe
It would ruin her ratings
it
too.
would ruin her ratings. They
Yeah.
plummet faster than a speeding bullet.
Mm-hmm.
gonna
Actually,
speak-
no, it would plummet. It'd plummet faster than a cannonball off a cliff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, basically, and she'd probably get canceled, and the tabloids would have a field day with her.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Anyone want to give any more negatives, or can we just give you?
Yeah, I got a little bit of a pet peeve. I just maybe it's just me overanalyzing this, but I thought that the whole scenario with the trauma was a little bit oddly specific. Does anyone else agree?
No, not
specifics?
Too oddly
Yeah.
specific that Tess would be afraid of both pandas and gorillas.
Well, actually, you gotta remind yourself this was a trigger event, so the stuffed panda was the cause of the.
It was the first thing she saw, and then
the gorilla, so they both caused triggers.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's just I don't know. It seemed a little oddly specific for me, but
Fear
really
is
that's
a
the
very
only.
usual subject to tap upon, so fear is very random at times.
Yeah, I mean I have my triggers too, but it's just this seemed again like a little just oddly specific for me, but it's more of a nitpick. Me just trying to split hairs at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for the fact that the panda toy looked so much similar to Penny Ling, like too much of a coincidence, perhaps.
Yeah. See, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
It's nothing to push your butt.
Not really.
Yeah.
Nothing to think too hard about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm,
Does
yeah,
anyone
yeah,
give any,
still.
does
Like,
anyone
before we-
give any negatives, or can we give the overall score?
Well, I like to add a little bit of nitpick, but it could fly out sometimes. But it's the sort of the panda racism part. It's the part when like Russell was like talking to Penny about the fact about he's trying to make some substance about why she may be Tess may be afraid of Penny. It could be the fact that she could be afraid of pants in general, and then Penny just makes it sarcastic nature to Russell about the fact that I feel so much better now, and
It
then
wasn't really
but
panda racism.
yeah, but then Zoe actually didn't clear it up quickly. The fact that it's really not just her. Like it could be something else. So yeah. And,
Anyone else give a negative, or
This isn't really a negative. This is more of a little informational thing for the guys. For those of you who don't know, when you heard James say pet peeves for a nitpick or a negative, ever since that one short that came out a couple weeks ago, that's that's what we keep
Littlest pet
referencing.
peeves.
Littlest pet peeves, yeah. Check out that drum cover I made.
The plug.
anybody else?
And I think we can go into the overall score
Yep.
and their overall opinion as well. So, anyone want to start that?
I'll start it. First of all, I think this episode is perfect. There's no real flaws. This episode gets a 10 out of 10. 10 out of
What?
10.
He's got to be going crazy because it's a Mary Williams episode, and he
Really?
gave it a 10 out of 10.
Now, Meriwether Williams, out of everything, I could give it a 10 out of 10. Let's go. This is amazing. It flows perfectly. The characters are really good. Everyone's in perfect synchronized character. I can't really find a freaking flaw in this episode.
For me, I believe that this episode would have better been named What's So Scary About the Jungle? Nothing. Because in the end, there was like nothing that Tess was traumatized about, so it got fixed in the end. So there's nothing to be scared about in the jungle. But it was a pretty solid episode. The references and everything were good. It didn't have like surprise and excitement like some of the others did, but I liked it, so I would give this episode an 8 out of 10.
Well, as for me, I was kind of blown away that Meriwether Williams just put out another good episode since Sunil's sick day. So, yeah, this is another one of those heartwarming episodes and fun one that highlights compassion towards Penny Ling, her sad times, when denying a hug to her favorite TV host. Well, due to Tessa's crazy struggles to her phobias, and as well as Sunshine Gorilla as another good guest animal in there, and yeah, and I also enjoy some of the most lovable hugging moments, and then Blythe being her active animal profession self upon helping animals in need. Yeah, so really, I have nothing negative to say about it. I mean, sure, there's one nitpick I mentioned, but it'll fly by. But yeah, well, great job, Meriwether. You made another great episode. So yeah, so this is gonna be part of my favorites of the season, and this is so for my score, it's a 9 out of 10.
Woo. All right. Yeah, I believe I am next. So I am not surprised that the Mary Evan Williams actually did a good episode. She's written a lot of my favorite episodes, so it's not a shocker to me. But what's it called? I really enjoyed this episode a lot. It touched upon a lot of good things, and the story was done pretty well. Another thing that I'd like to slightly elaborate on is Pepper was really great in this episode. Yeah, but other than that, if I want to make it short and sweet, everything was really good. All the points were made. If I had to, what would I rate this episode? Well, if a pizza is good and a taco is
But not as good as bacon, though. Or Michael Kopsa.
bad, I'd give this episode a squirrel. Basically, I'd go with as a 10 out of 10. Yeah. DC?
Well, despite what my Skype icon says, I am a huge Penny Ling fan, so obviously any episode that features her as the main pet of the episode, of course I'm going to flat out like it. Overall, Penny Ling was really good in this episode, as well as the entire story itself. Nothing really seemed bad about it. I didn't find anything mean-spirited about it. I think everything flowed exactly as it was supposed to. So overall, I'd have to give this episode a 9 out of 10.
And guys, for me, I definitely agree that this was a very great episode. Meriwether Williams, you definitely earned some brownie points for me. And yeah, this was a very solid episode, like ICanSnake and LNS and everyone else stated. So I'm going to give this episode I'll join LNS. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Episode.
James, what did you think of the episode?
I thought it was great. I mean, I guess you guys picked a good week to introduce me because I came in on a solid episode. So I can't complain about that. Like I said, the only nitpick I could find was just the plot seemed a little too oddly specific for me, but that's more of a personal nitpick in terms of writing than an actual fatal flaw. So I'm just going to give this a 9 out of 10. Great episode.
I think that's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, guys. So also for those of you watching this, we're going to have a live reaction on Monday, where we're going to be seeing who the new fighter is going to be for Smash Bros. 4. I'm still saying it's Mewtwo. For those
I'm
of you
still
that
saying
support
it's
Mewtwo. It's going to
Chrome
be
or the
Mewtwo. I
Fire
can
Boy.
guarantee. It
Daisy.
must be Mewtwo.
Mewtwo joins the battle.
I will freak out. I honestly will if it is.
And if you're wrong, I will yell, "I told you so."
Better pick up that phone because I called it.
Okay, so this has been
This has been Sinilnish98.
Will's Nintendo Shop.
ICanSnake.
We get RS28.
The D downloads bacon.
CC Trainor-Ling.
And James, come man.
So guys, from the League of Petshoppers, this is the League of Petshoppers. Signing off.
Bye-bye.
Stay classy.
Visit us again.
Yep.
We'll be
Bye-bye,
back
everybody.
soon.
And stay classy.